Hi, and welcome to a new semester of Moral Courage. This video, I just want to introduce you to the course, talk a little bit about some of the administrative details you'll want to be aware of when you're getting started, and then just spend a little bit of time talking about what moral courage is and how we're going to be working with the concept of moral courage throughout the semester. So, to start out, you want to familiarize yourself with two primary websites. The first one is Blackboard. And if you haven't taken an online course before, then you'll want to familiarize yourself with some of the different menu items in Blackboard. And if you have taken an online course before, you'll want to pay particular attention to how we'll be using it in this class. The other website that we're going to be using is my personal website, which has a web page dedicated to this course. And on that website, you're going to find weekly updates on what activities we'll be engaging in. I'll be posting embedded videos for you to watch, links to the reading materials, links to the syllabi, all those types of things. So that's really the main portal for the course. That when you show up to my personal website and you go to that course page, each week you'll get an update on what it is we're doing that week, what's coming up in the week to follow, and lots of links to the materials we'll be using. The Blackboard site we're going to be using for our quizzes and discussion board. So those things that you have to log in to do, and where that information will be kept private and only shared when appropriate with people in the class, or in some cases only with me. Those are the things that happen through Blackboard. And if you have any questions about any of those things, then feel free to send me an email or post your question on our discussion board, and I'll be happy to try to help you. We also have really strong technical support here at the university that can help you maneuver through the Blackboard site if you're having any trouble. So, the flow of this class is going to look very familiar each week. Each week you're going to have some material that you're going to read. In the first week it's going to be the syllabus. After that, there'll be a variety of different readings that are made available to you, journal articles, book chapters, things like that. And there'll be a video for you to watch. Sometimes there's a video from me, like this one. Oftentimes there's going to be a video from some other scholar in the field talking about a topic that's appropriate for that week. And you'll engage in our discussion board, and I'll provide prompting questions each week, things that I want you to be thinking about, either about the video or about the readings or both, sometimes your life experiences. And you'll share your initial response to my questions or my prompts. And then you'll return on a schedule that week to read what your classmates have written in the discussion board, and then to provide some dialogue around those posts. So what you'll find is that even though there are very, very few, if any, moments during the semester where we all have to be online at the same time, there are blocks of time where you'll have to do things within those blocks of time. And that also keeps you from getting too far ahead. So, for example, on the discussion board, because I want you to wait until everybody's had a chance to contribute their initial post, I provide a window where everybody does that work, responding to me, and then only after that window closes, and I call that the turn. That on the other side of the turn is when you come back and read what everybody's written and then begin to contribute. There'll also be quizzes, and the quizzes are based on the readings. They're all relatively short. They're on Blackboard. They're automatically graded, so you'll get feedback and you'll know how you did immediately. They're intended to be open book, open source, so you can have the readings right in front of you when you're looking at it. That's fine. The intent is just a reading check, because I don't have you in class right in front of me where I can have side conversations and ask you questions individually about the readings. This is a way for me just to make sure that you're getting the most important information out of the readings that you can bring into our discussion later. And these quizzes help me do that, and it also helps me get a sense of how not only you as an individual, but how the whole class is doing, understanding the readings and understanding the core concepts. So the body of work that we'll be working on is under this title called moral courage, and it may not always be clear what that means, or we may have different definitions of what moral courage is. I just want to talk about it briefly. Whenever we're faced with a moral dilemma or a moral problem, and we're trying to figure out how to do the right thing, oftentimes we're pretty good at knowing what the right thing to do is, based on a variety of different types of pieces of information or influences we've had in our lives. We have a sense of right and wrong, and when we're faced with a problem and we can kind of look at it coldly and analytically, you can usually come to the conclusion of what the moral right thing is to do. However, there are lots of reasons why we don't always do the right thing, and this stage of moving from knowing what to do to acting on it is sometimes called moral implementation or moral courage. And the reason it's called a courageous act is because there are oftentimes lots of compelling, competing interests that will draw us away from doing the moral thing. Sometimes doing the moral thing affects our friendships. Sometimes it affects how successful we're going to be at work or in school. It can affect our financial standing. There are all these things that are also really important to us. Being a moral person is important to us, but these other things are important too. And oftentimes in difficult moral decisions, we have to sacrifice to do the right thing, and sometimes that takes courage. And so in this class, we're not just going to be talking about the psychology behind how one acts more courageously in moral situations, but I also believe that there are a lot of things that we do that dispose us to act more courageously or less courageously when the moment comes. And they run a full gamut of having a better understanding of what it means to be a moral agent and to act morally, to how much sleep we've gotten the night before we're dealing with a really difficult problem, and a whole host of things in between that can affect our ability to act the way that we ultimately want to act, ultimately do the right thing. So this class is going to be talking about those things. We're going to spend a lot of time learning about and understanding what are all these different factors that affect our ability to be better moral agents, to be more morally courageous, and how can we maximize them on a daily basis. So that's the focus of the class. Obviously, we'll learn a lot more about this as we move forward. This class means a lot to me. It's an exciting culmination of some other coursework that I've designed here at the university, and also it ties in very closely to my own research. So I have a lot of passion for this work, and I hope that by the end of the semester you do too. I'm looking forward to working with all of you and seeing you online.